Hi, my name's Milagro.
And I'm Justin.
And this is our love story.
So how long have we been dating? I think we kind of started counting at different times on when we officially started dating. So I would say that we've been dating, man, I'm going to get in trouble for this. I'm going to say at least a year and 5 months. I think that would be fair.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's about a year and 5 months.
Yeah, because it was officially a year in October that we
started dating.
Mm-hmm. So but as far as like the specific date, I think it kind of varies from person to person. So, but yeah.
Yeah. So how did we start dating, or when did we meet? How did we meet?
We're gonna have to take it back like at least 25 years.
Yeah. So Justin and I actually grew up on the same street. So we both lived on Galena Court. His family lived there, his grandmother, his aunts, his uncles. So he had his whole Moreno side of the family that also lived there too. So my parents moved there when I was about, 5, 6 years old. So we've known each other since I was 6, you were 8. We kind of grew up together on the same street. I was actually really close to his grandmother, who was my next door neighbor. So every day after school, I'd come home, grab a snack, finish my homework, and then I'd go over to her house and help her with her birds and her pets, and just kind of check in on her. And she was my best friend growing up. So
which I did not know until later on when we kind of started talking a little bit more serious. Then I finally realized how close her and my grandmother were. So of course that kind of won me over right there instantly. But she had like little keepsakes that even still that my grandma gave her over 20 years ago, that she pulled out, and that was a nice moment that we got to share together, to realize how close her and my grandma Martha were. So that was definitely nice.
It was nice. She was a wonderful lady, and she has a special place in my heart, as well as the rest of the Moreno family. But it was definitely very interesting how that kind of played a big role in my life. Then my family and I actually moved away, so we left Galena Court and moved on from there. So Justin and I went to elementary, junior high, and high school together. And we kind of knew each other, kind of talked here and
there.
More
of acquaintances than anything else.
It was like a, hey neighbor, how's it going, neighbor?
We were
I know
definitely
them.
Parts of like different crowds in school. Let's just say that.
I was the more studious one. He was a little more extroverted. Let's just say that.
I was a party animal. Yeah.
So
I knew my way around the principal's office. So. Yeah.
And me for awards and whatnot. So
mine were not
very
awards.
Different.
So that was definitely
Yeah.
So it was very, very interesting because since we went to all these same schools together, but really nothing outside of hey and hi. Really never really thought anything
of it.
Other than that.
It's just like, oh, that's my neighbor. Oh, that's my friend.
Yeah, and then obviously once I graduated from high school, I went to college, stayed here in Bakersfield, and when she graduated,
I moved away.
She booked it. She was gone. She was gone. So I think we just kind of, when we would start, like we started our MySpace pages, we probably added each other and kind of kept in contact that way. And then Facebook, same thing, but really.
Yeah. Didn't really talk. I mean, he lived his life up until now. I had lived mine. I went to Southern California.
Yeah.
Just did that. It wasn't until I was finishing up grad school where this one, started liking my pictures and, saying, hey, how's it going? And I'm like, oh, okay. It's just this random guy I knew.
I was
that
liking
it was like,
all of her pictures
cool.
and nothing. I said, oh, okay. And I was like, you know what? Maybe I'm not going to stop at the like. I'll comment on some pictures too. And I still don't think that.
Yeah, I had no idea. I was like, okay, he's liked my pictures like 30 times, but okay, he must be really bored.
Yeah, I think I finally had to like message her. She says that she messaged me, but I think I messaged her.
No, you definitely messaged me.
Yeah, just to break the ice to see like how it is that she was doing. Because by that point, we really hadn't spoken too much in at least, I would say at least 10 years.
At least, yeah.
Yeah. So
and then I was teaching in Orange County, and I knew that he was here at a school, so he was working in special ed, and I had a student with special needs in my classroom. So I was like, oh, that's perfect. He's reached out to me. I need help with, working with this particular student. So that's kind of how we
So she says. I don't really know if the student ever actually existed.
Oh, no,
I
he
think that she really just kind of
existed.
wanted a reason to talk to me. But yeah.
No, he definitely existed. But yeah, it was more like, oh, okay. All right, how am I going to do this? What do I do with that? How do I, help with his behaviors, blah, blah, blah. So I'm totally thinking like, professional to professional, like, just networking, all that.
I was flattered.
Yeah, he was
Definitely
like,
flattered.
I guess he had a whole other idea. But it wasn't until it was the end of my school year and he was already done. My principal comes with a bouquet of flowers. And I was like, oh, those are beautiful. Like, wow, where'd you get them from? She goes, no, these are for you. And I'm going, it's not my birthday. It's not anything special. And she's like, there's a card. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. And she's like, so read the card. And I'm like, okay, sure. Read the card and open it. And it's flowers from him. And I'm going, why? Like, I don't understand.
It definitely took some determination to send flowers in orange from Bakersfield.
Yeah.
So I had to do some research on okay, who's going to deliver that's at least somewhat close by? And I was like, how am I going to get them delivered to her? And she's not even going to know. So I was hoping at that point that I put the right address in. And I was like, okay, here we go. Let's see if she gets them or not.
Yeah. So it said, hope the next 2 weeks, because we had 2 weeks left of school, go by quickly, your friend Justin. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I remember taking the vase of flowers and going to, my next door teacher, and I'm like, Sherry, what is this? I don't understand. And she's like, where'd you get that from? I said, I don't really know what's happening. And so she's like, okay, come. So of course I have, all of my friends that are on the faculty, and they're like, where'd you get that from? I said, I think my friend sent it to me, but I don't know what this means. And so now you've got all these teachers analyzing the color of the flowers, the type of flowers, what it says on the note, is it his handwriting? And so it was just a lot of different things. And I'm still standing there going, what does this mean? I don't understand.
I knew that she was going to do, so I really took into consideration what type of flowers I was going to send because, I was like, let's be honest, women are going to analyze everything about that bouquet. So I was like, okay, I don't want this to be too overly stated. So I think I strayed away from roses. There might have been a few in there, but I was like, I don't want this to say love or anything because I obviously didn't want to scare her away. So I thought they were pretty dialed down.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, they were like little pink roses and, some like hydrangeas, and it was an assortment. So it was still pretty nice. It was like a little spring mix, but
that was one of many.
Yeah, so he did end up sending flowers, over the course of the school year. And then from then it was like, okay, we'll start hanging out. So I think the first time we kind of dated was when we were supposed to meet up for coffee, but I was running late.
Yeah.
So coffee then turned into, let's just go out and have a beer.
That was her idea, by the way. It was 11 o'clock in the morning. I usually do not drink that early. And she said,
the brewery was open.
We could meet up and have a beer. And I was like, oh, why? The tables have turned now. I'm not the wild one anymore. She's the wild one that wants to go have a beer at 11 o'clock in the morning. So
I mean, but for me, it was already lunchtime though. So
yeah.
We ended up meeting up for a beer. Mm-hmm. That was like our first outing. And I remember him trying to be the gentleman and going to go open the door. As he's walking over there, he kind of loses his footing and kind of slips. And,
it really
he almost ate it, but it's okay. I just kind of like brushed it off like, oh, okay. Oh, look over there. Oh, thank you for opening the door for me. So I, didn't want to make him more nervous because I felt like he already was nervous.
I really was.
And
well, at that point, I hadn't even got to meet up with her in so long, and I think at that point I don't even know if I had seen you since high school. Yeah,
that was the first time we saw each other.
Definitely the first time.
So and then
she always brings that up, that I almost fell walking in the first time.
That's the first time he fell for me.
Yeah.
And so then we ended up just getting a drink, and I remember I told him I couldn't stay too long because I had an appointment, and so of course he's thinking I've got like really important appointment,
I thought she had a doctor's appointment. Something that was important to. I think she cut that that date like to like 25 minutes. And I was like, okay, she's out of here. And I was, of course, me being the concerned gentleman was like, oh my gosh, like I hope she's okay. Maybe she had to go to the doctor or something. And the truth came out about
months later.
Yeah, that she ditched me to go get a massage.
Yeah, I did.
So, yeah.
I had to have an exit plan just in case things didn't go well.
I thought they went pretty well.
But it was good.
Yeah, it was. It was nice to really just kind of catch up after that. And then I think just little by little, things just kind of snowballed from there. Obviously, I knew that at that time I was living here in Bakersfield and she was living in Los Alamitos and teaching in Orange. So long distance, obviously we knew that we had a lot of things stacked against us. And I had told her from the beginning that I was definitely never going to ask her to move back because, I know that she loves what it is that she does. And I know that, the environment over there, I mean, you really can't compare Bakersfield to anywhere near the coast. So,
but it was good.
But so then COVID hit.
Yeah, then COVID hit. So I moved back to Bakersfield. So, and we kind of just...
I know it's kind of scary to say, but it was kind of a blessing in disguise because I got to get her back, sooner rather than later. And
then we just, continued dating and all that. And even with us dating, we'd go visit his grandmother's grave because, again, she was a real big part. Yeah. And I say that she's the reason why, we ended up together because... Yeah. I never really had a grandmother, so to speak. So she was that grandmother figure to me because mine were in El Salvador, so I didn't really grow up with them. And when she passed, I would always pray, that she'd watch over me and that she'd guide me as, I got older and older. And slowly it turned into, Grandmother Martha, if you can please send me, a nice young husband and, just I'd be thankful, God-fearing husband. Sure enough, she ended up sending me her grandson. Not sure how that happened, but, I think it's definitely her doing and with God's help too. But yeah, I think it's been good.
Yeah, it's been good. Our best memories of dating, I would definitely say in the little bit of time that we dated before COVID hit, we did a lot of traveling. She got to show me a lot of different places. I was never much of a traveler. I was a homebody. So we got to travel a few places down south, down in Los Angeles and San Diego. Yeah. And we've made a lot of memories. We got to take a lot of cool pictures and just got to enjoy a lot of God's beauty down south.
We got to go to Club 33 too, which
that was pretty cool
on my bucket
list. At Disneyland, yeah.
So pretty good. Yeah. And that's where you said you loved me the first time.
Yeah, it was. That was the first I love you was at Club 33. So I made it worth it because it was at least somewhere that was unique. Little did we know that Disneyland was going to get closed down with COVID. So we definitely made our trips down there worth it.
Yeah.
Our proposal story. Okay. So I decided that we were going to go down to Morro Bay to celebrate our 1-year anniversary. I think our anniversary was actually going to land on a Monday or Tuesday. So we ended up going down like on a Saturday. It was a few days before. And I was not 100% sure if I was going to propose or not because obviously extremely nervous. I had already talked to her dad and her mom previously to ask him for permission. I figured that was the gentleman thing to do. And I think that those conversations were actually scarier than the proposal itself, especially with your mom. Love her to death, but that one I was scared for.
Intimidating.
Yeah, very intimidating. Your dad was like super just...
Like, all right, cool, just be good.
Yeah. So we drove down to Morro Bay and... I actually had her engagement ring in the glove compartment of my car. She never goes in the glove compartment, ever. And I don't know, what was it?
Day.
Yeah,
I think I was looking for a mask or I was looking for
something.
Tissue, I don't know.
And luckily she didn't see it, but I mean, just inches away from where she was at was her box with her engagement ring in there. And yeah, so that was I was a nervous wreck driving around just for the day with this ring. So I wanted to propose to her somewhere romantic. So I think my original plan was to drive out to a lighthouse that I had found just online. I figured, you know what, there's not going to be that many people out there. I'll propose on the beach, be like in the movies, nice and romantic. Unfortunately, we get to the lighthouse and it's closed because of COVID. So I had to go to plan B, which was not really having a plan B. And we continued driving. And long and behold, we find this little outlet of a beach. And I park and there is nobody out on this beach, which was, I mean, you know, you go anywhere in Southern California or Pismo or Morro Bay, you're not going to find anywhere that's empty. So I knew that that's where God wanted me to do it. So we happened to walk out. I'm nervous as heck, fumbling with this ring in my pocket and trying to hope that she doesn't notice. And I think I told her we're out on the beach, and I told her, "Oh, you know, I didn't bring you out here just to look at the lighthouse." And as I'm telling her this, I'm standing behind her, so I couldn't really see her reaction on her face at that time. And
I'm thinking, oh no, this is turning into a horror story.
Yeah, because we're out there by ourselves. and so I get down on one knee in the sand, which in the movies, they make this look so much easier than it is in person, because I'm trying to like balance here, and I'm like, okay, worst case scenario, I'm going to get down on one knee, and I'm just going to slowly topple over to the side, and it's just going to kill the entire moment. And luckily I didn't. So I get down on one knee, and I think even she told me afterwards that she thought that I was actually falling down. And I opened her ring box, and I told her that I loved her, and if she would do me the honor of marrying me. And there might have been a millisecond there of her not saying anything. I think she was just panicked, but it seemed like forever. And I think I blurted out, "Oh, and don't worry, I already talked to your parents." And of course, which got her to laugh.
I was like, "Oh, okay."
And she said yes.
I said yes.
So we made it. We didn't quite make it to the 365 days of dating. At that point, it was 363 days of dating, and we were officially engaged.
Yeah.
But it was something that I look back and I know that was where I was meant to propose to her at, because I mean, like I said, finding a beach anywhere on the coast of California that's completely empty, it was awesome, and it was a nice just private moment between us, and it was nice. It was like I couldn't have drawn it up any better myself.
Yeah.
So it was kind of nice that things happened the way that they actually weren't supposed to happen because the lighthouse was closed. So I still want to go back to that lighthouse one day since that was the original plan. But
yeah. So my side of the proposal story. So that day, he's obsessing over this lighthouse. And he's like, we have to go to the lighthouse. It's over here. This is where we have to go. This is the time. Like, we got to go. I'm like, okay, that's fine. I mean, I thought we were just driving down the coast. Like, we're just sharing in each other's company, just stopping here and there. He's like, no, we have to go to the lighthouse. I said, okay, all right. Well, we'll get there when we get there. But
I was probably driving a little fast.
Yeah, you were. And I didn't know this or like really realize it at the time, but he had a certain playlist going on while we were driving, and it was what's the song? The Big Plans, and she doesn't know this, but I've already got a ring, and I've got these big plans, and I'm gonna propose.
Just completely.
And I'm not really paying attention. He listens to music all the time, and he's a sap for love songs and stuff. So I'm like, okay, whatever. But it just kept playing over and over, and I'm going, okay, all right, we might be obsessed with this song, sure, whatever. So again, he's, obsessing over this lighthouse, and I'm like, it's okay if we don't get to go to the lighthouse, it's okay. And so we get to the lighthouse, and he's like flustered. This lighthouse is closed. What are we gonna do? What are we gonna go? That was my plan. Lighthouse.
I was probably pretty panicked.
He was pretty panicked, and I'm going, it's okay. We could just keep driving. I'm sure there's another cool spot. Blah blah blah. So we ended up finding that little outlet. we park, and he's like, oh, we can see the lighthouse from here. So we walk down to the beach, and at that point, just looking, watching the waves, everything like that. He comes from up behind me, and he gives me a hug, and he whispers, he's like, I didn't bring you out here to look at the lighthouse, right? And so at that moment, I'm going, oh no, this is just like the movies. Something bad is about to happen. And so then he kind of like scoots back, and he goes, oh, my keys are bugging me. So, I hear him like rustling into his pocket, and I'm like, okay, whatever, fine. So I'm still looking off to the distance, looking at the lighthouse. And then all of a sudden I hear shuffling in the sand. And I'm like, oh no, he just fell. He's like probably lost his balance, lost his footing. He's probably gonna fall over. So I turn around really quickly, and I see him like going towards the floor. And so I'm crouching down to pick him up, and then he's fumbling with this box. And
I did not fumble
yes,
that
he
much.
did.
I just wanted to make sure that it was face up,
So he's fumbling
like I
with
said,
the box.
They make it look so much easier in the movies, and it was just there was a lot to it. I was sweating like a sinner on Judgment Day out on that beach.
So he's fumbling with the box. He's trying to get open. I love you. Will you marry me? And I'm going.
I did not mumble.
Yeah, you did. You did.
I was nervous.
I know, and I don't blame you. So he shows me the box, he's got the ring, and of course I'm still crouching down, and I'm going, and then he's like, don't worry, I already asked your parents. I said, oh, okay. And he's like, so is that a yes? I'm like, yes, okay, I'll marry you. Yeah. And so obviously, we kiss, and
it was a nice surprise.
It was nice. It was exciting.
I really wanted to try to make it to 365 days, but I couldn't wait any longer. I had that ring picked out for months already, and it was sitting in my safe at home, and I was dying to give it to her already. And didn't want to get engaged too soon, because I know that sometimes when people get engaged too early, people don't really take it seriously. But I was ready.
Yeah, kudos to him, because he had that ring since
it was so hard to keep a secret.
June-ish?
Yeah, it was like from like June, yeah.
And the only person he had ever told was my sister.
Yeah, she can definitely keep a secret. Yeah,
that's troubling.
Yeah, it was tough.
So yeah, and now we've been trying to plan a wedding during COVID, so that's been great. We've gone through plans A, B. I think we're on like F now.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't keep track. So. But we're excited.
What are we excited about for the wedding? What is it? I know for me, it's finally just having all of our family together.
Yeah.
That's pretty much been the most important thing for me.
Yeah, just being able to, just share that day with everybody. I think that's the most exciting part of it. Being able to call you my husband.
Yeah.
That'll be nice.
That's finally nice. Mm-hmm. Or yell at me and stuff like that.
It works. How do we define love?
Compromise. I definitely think.
I'd say patience.
Patience, communication. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of that. I mean, me and her, we never fight. If something's bothering us, we'll definitely talk it out.
Yeah, we'll talk it out. We'll come to terms or agreements, and
family. I would definitely throw family in there too, because we were both very, very close to our families, and then I would say God, having him, that we've always made him the center of our relationship from the beginning, and I know that with God we're going to be able to get through anything.
Yeah. So love is just unconditional for me.
It is. It's unconditional, selfless. Mm-hmm. Everything that Millie is, she really, really is.
Well, no, you too.
I try. I do what I can.
Yeah. So I think that's what we would define love as. So.
Well, thank you, everybody, and that's our love story.